ladies and gentlemen, the devil has finally arrived into the MCU. Okay, so I know that Ironheart had ended 2 weeks ago as of today with its last 3 episodes, which, thank freaking God. And I'm not saying that because I'm like one of those haters online that wanted this show to fail, or like, oh, this show is terrible, stars a woman. Oh, no, I quite enjoyed this. The reason I'm celebrating it's over is because this was the last show to ever have a 6-episode format. And in case you've not been following me on the channel, I have said this countless of times where I have hated how we've had 6-episode formats for most of these Disney Plus shows from Marvel Studios. Because 8 to 9 or even 10 episodes is what I would rather prefer. 6? 6? Why even 6 episodes? Plus, it was one of the MCU projects that was part of the Shiplak era, if I pronounced that correctly, where Marvel wasn't doing so hot, but now, you know, we're leaning towards the future where the MCU shall learn from its mistakes. Plus, the next couple of Disney Plus shows, we're not going to be having any 6-episode formats. We'll then have like 8 to 9 or even 10 episodes. From what I know, Wonder Man, which is actually going to be the next Disney Plus show after Ironheart, is set to be having 8 episodes. And that is honestly way better than that show having 6 episodes. So thank God, no more 6-episode formats, because I hated that so much. But on with my thoughts on Marvel's Television's Ironheart. So yeah, we were supposed to get this a long time ago, because they had got this done in filming by the time Wakanda Forever had came out, I think. Or maybe around 2023. I don't know. Point is, I know we were supposed to get this probably sometime 2023, or most likely last year, but it's just been collecting dust in Marvel's shelves for the last 3 years now. And the whole reason we're getting like 3 movies, 3 animated shows, and 3 live-action shows this year from Marvel, therefore 9 projects in total, is because they're trying to get out some projects they've had on their shelves that's been collecting dust for the last couple of years now, like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, or Ironheart, or even Marvel Zombies. But come by 2026, they're then going to stick to their plan of just having like 2 movies and probably 2 live-action shows and 1 animated show, I think? I don't know. I've just heard that Marvel's gonna learn from their mistakes to where they're then gonna be focusing on quality over quantity. But even though I say that I hate the whole 6-episode format, I think I might let Ironheart slide this time. Maybe. The only MCU Disney Plus show that managed to pull off having 6 episodes was Loki. Sure, I could say that I was not a fan of that show having 6 episodes, but that show managed to pull off having 6 episodes, so that gets a pass for me. And it's probably because of the longer runtime those episodes have. And the same could go for Ironheart. And the reason I say maybe is because I probably would have liked to have gotten 2 more episodes, or maybe 6 was the only way to go for this show. Now, hot take, they probably could have made an Ironheart movie or something. If you were to ask me which Disney Plus show should have been turned into a movie, I'm going with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That should have been Captain America 4. But I'll talk about my thoughts on Brave New World that I'm, how many months since February? 5 months late on making. But with Fantastic Four coming out, I'm definitely going to be reviewing Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts. But back to topic with Ironheart. So before I talk about any spoilers, as yes, I'm going to bring up spoilers. If you've not seen Ironheart, I recommend checking it out, giving it a chance on Disney Plus, as all 6 episodes are now streaming. So yeah, this show was announced back in Disney Investor Day 5 years ago, as Kevin Feige had announced a bunch of Disney Plus shows, along with movies we were set to get in the next upcoming years. And it's crazy how we're almost, well, like, we're in 2025, and most of them have already come out. Well, almost most of them. The only 2 missing are Blade and Armor Wars, sadly. Hopefully Armor Wars isn't canceled, because I'm still waiting on that. As for Blade, yeah, I think they're gonna make that after they conclude the Multiverse Saga. I know most fans want that canceled already, since it's, like, it's too late now, but I'm still holding out hope for that movie to happen. I just hope it'll be worth the wait. But yeah, the show was announced back in December 2020, and I'll admit, I didn't have too much excitement. Not to say I wasn't looking forward to it. Back then, I was excited we were getting so much MCU content, but now looking back, I now am agreeing with everyone else that, okay, Marvel needs to slow things down. We've now gotten too much projects in the last couple of years. So that's my thoughts for Ironheart. Oh, I was curious to see how they were going to pull this off. I didn't know much about the character, other than that she's got connections with Tony Stark, well, mainly through a hologram. That was the only thing I knew about Ironheart, but yeah, I didn't know much about her, since I don't know all the lore that goes on in Marvel Comics. I've just only been a fan from the movies I've grown up watching. But after seeing her in Wakanda Forever, yeah, that got me a little more excited to check out her show. And then I had to wait 3 stinking years for her show to come out, finally. And I'll admit, I'm not sure I'm down for how Marvel had released this show, where we'd only have 2 weeks of Ironheart content. But at the same time, I think this was probably the right move to go, because if they did this weekly, yeah, I don't think I would have. I probably would have waited until all 6 episodes were streaming. So them releasing 3 each week, which only lasted 2 weeks, that may have been the best choice for them to go. And I am aware of the hate the show has gotten, which is so unnecessary because it stars a black woman, and yeah, I just ignore those haters because they're simple assholes. They're also racist as well. Thankfully, I was not one of those a-holes because I technically have been waiting 3 years for this show. Well, actually 5 years since it was announced, but 5 years ago I wasn't like too over the moon, but I was still interested in checking it out. 3 years I waited to see Ironheart again on screen because I liked her character in Wakanda Forever. And having to see all 6 episodes, as I did do 2 videos of my reactions to 3 episodes each, here's what I gotta say right off the bat. Marvel, I need you to give me a second season, because how dare you leave me off on a freaking cliffhanger? I was not expecting the way it just ended like that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm honestly pretty pissed off with where things ended with Riri Williams. Okay, I didn't take much notes, but I know which certain topics I would like to discuss about for Marvel's television, Ironheart. Right off the bat, what honestly carried this show for me was the chemistry between Riri and her dead best friend Natalie, who was mainly an AI throughout the entire show. I really liked their chemistry they had on screen, but most of all, Natalie was kind of an MVP for me, from start to finish. Also, to clear things up with who Riri is supposed to be, she's not a replacement for Iron Man. She's her own character, and the only reason she's making Iron Man suits is mainly to protect her loved ones because of a tragedy that happened to her a couple of years ago, as we do get a flashback in the first episode, I think, where she had lost her stepdad, I believe, but also her best friend, Natalie. So that had traumatized her for life, but also had motivated her to create her own iron suits. Also, she's very smart, much like Tony Stark, but again, she's her own character. She's not trying to copy Iron Man, nor even trying to replace him. But what stands out about her compared to Iron Man, and this is something I actually do like about Riri Williams, and that would be her infusing tech with magic. I don't know if anybody knows this, but there was a deleted scene where Doctor Strange was supposed to wear Iron Man's armor while Tony Stark wears Doctor Strange's cloak. And I guess that was supposed to be Marvel's first time at attempting to infuse tech with magic, but now that we're actually trying that out for the first time with Ironheart, yeah, I'm down with Ironheart infusing tech with magic. Plus, she gets a badass action sequence she has with the Red Hood by the series finale. Now, I'll admit, the first 3 episodes were a slow start, but I was willing to be patient. But by the next 3, I'd say we're a lot more better than the first 3 episodes. And another thing I forgot to mention about, another annoyance I have with the 6-episode format is the rushed finales. I didn't care much at first, but then after a couple of MCU Disney Plus shows, I then started to like, okay, now I'm actually starting to get annoyed with these finales. The only good finales we have would be the Loki TV series, along with Agatha all along, and Daredevil Born Again, and now Ironheart. I was worried if this would have a rushed finale, and the way it begins, at first I'm like, okay, this feels a little rushed, please don't do this to me, but from positive reviews I've been hearing, a lot of Marvel fans had mentioned that the last episode is probably one of the best finales we've seen from Marvel's television, and yeah, they're not wrong. The last episode is probably my favorite episode from this entire series. Now, before I move on to any possible nitpicks I have for Ironheart, there's a certain character that I was actually looking forward to seeing the show, and that would be Ezekiel Stane, who is the son of Obadiah Stane, aka the Ironmonger, who is the main villain from Iron Man. And I won't lie, watching this show made me miss Iron Man a lot more, but also wanted to rewatch the first Iron Man movie, because that is like a top-tier MCU film, but definitely one of the best superhero movies we've gotten in the last couple of decades, which that movie came out 17 years ago, I think. But he was honestly one of my favorite parts about Ironheart, just seeing him interact with Riri, and I was expecting that these two would have a fight some point later on, and I was hoping he would not be wasted, and thankfully he's not, but I do hope we get to see him again later in the MCU, as he was an MCU character I honestly enjoyed seeing on screen. Now for any nitpicks I have. There's only one I can think of, and besides this having 6 episodes, but I'm willing to maybe let that slide. I do like the villain, just don't think he's like a top tier MCU villain. Although I will say this, he's way better than Gravik from Secret Invasion. I liked Anthony Ramos as the Red Hood. I found him to be a cool villain. And as I mentioned earlier, I definitely enjoyed that fight sequence he had with Ironheart by the last episode of the series. Plus, Marvel is set to have him show up in a couple of more MCU projects, so look forward to seeing him again. Somehow, which I don't know how is he gonna show up without his Red Hood since Riri took that away from him. But before I get on to what I would like to discuss about the most, let me talk about one of the biggest pros I have for Ironheart, and that is Marvel bringing back practical suits. So I can agree with everyone else on how we've gotten sick and tired of seeing nanotechnology in the MCU. Because we've seen it in most MCU suits like Ant-Man, or even Thor from Thor Love and Thunder. I don't know, I could go on trying to list off any heroes that had nanotechnology, which caused a major annoyance for Marvel fans. But yeah, besides them bringing back practical suits, the CGI looks great. And since the show has been sitting on Marvel's shelf collecting dust for 3 years, that must have given the VFX workers enough time to just polish the CGI and make sure that it did not look terrible, like most MCU projects that had terrible CGI in the last couple of years. But I'm happy just to see practical suits in the MCU. But now on to the finale, which, oh man, I remember the good old days back in 2021 when WandaVision was coming out. In case you were not aware, for the WandaVision era, which is an era I deeply miss, as I'd say 2021 was a banger year for Marvel, as we started off with WandaVision and ended off with No Way Home. So some of us Marvel fans were theorizing about Mephisto being the main villain for WandaVision. Sadly, he didn't show up, and yeah, we did not think he would ever show up in the MCU. But there were reports that, oh, this actor is set to play Mephisto in Ironheart, and I'm like, say what now? Which I thought was random, but then I hear another thing about the show tackling about tech versus magic. I'm like, oh, okay, this show's gonna be about tech versus magic. Interesting, indeed. And I was wondering if Mephisto was actually going to show up in the show, and oh my god, this character appearance might be better than Jonathan Majors showing up as a Kang variant as He Who Remains in the Loki Season 1 finale. After 4 years, Mephisto has finally showed up in the MCU. Which, roll the clip of me losing my absolute shit seeing the devil show up. Which, technically he showed up in the beginning of the last episode, but I'm like, come on, is this Mephisto? This is the actor that was rumored to play Mephisto. Tell me, is this guy Mephisto?
Okay, Mr. Dormammu man.
Dormammu? 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 That ugly pillock isn't fit to clean my glorious arsehole.
Okay. If it ain't Dormammu, then what?
Come on, say
I
it.
should have introduced myself. I go by a lot of names. Some of them are actually a bit cruel and hurtful to me. But I like you, Riri, so you can call me Mephisto.
Yes! Let's go! Mephisto! Oh!
Is that supposed
Oh my god! Finally! I had basically let out a Soups Let's Go moment when he said Mephisto. Oh my god, I got so excited for that! Finally, after 4 years, what took you so long? Now, I know most Marvel fans are complaining that, oh, Marvel ruined Mephisto, he's not in his demon form. You really think they're gonna show us his demon form on a Disney Plus show? They're gonna want to say that for an MCU movie like Ghost Rider. Or a Marvel's Champions, which would be a Young Avengers project. I don't know. We shall see. I just know that this won't be the last time we see Mephisto in the MCU, because after Multiverse Saga, the next couple of things we're gonna be dealing with in the next saga would be the mutants, cosmic, and supernatural stuff. Which I'm wondering why are they gonna title the next saga, as I'm guessing Phase 7 will be the mutant saga, then 8, then the cosmic saga, then 9, the supernatural saga, unless they switch those two up a bit. I don't know. I just know that the next saga, those are the 3 things we're gonna be tackling with. Supernatural, cosmic, and mutants. Also, you get a tease at his demon form. They show it in the scene. They did technically show us his demon form. It was in the reflection of his spoon as he was just stirring up his cup of tea. But yeah, I cannot wait to see Mephisto again in the MCU. Also, I'm now starting to realize this, and that would be, he is responsible for giving Johnny Blaze his Ghost Rider powers. Also, I vote Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider, which apparently it's now rumored that he might show up in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I don't know, we shall see. But I do hope they bring Nicolas Cage back as Ghost Rider for Secret Wars, because he was close to showing up in Deadpool Wolverine. But now my thoughts on the ending, because are you kidding me, Marvel? I wasn't expecting this to end off in a cliffhanger. Like, excuse me? Now I need a second season, or a continuation of that cliffhanger, which will probably be in a Young Avengers project. But the way the show ended, she ended up making a deal with the devil and is now an agent of Mephisto. I cannot believe she did that. I honestly was thinking that, no way she's gonna do that. Come on, you're smarter than this, Riri. And she made a deal with them to where Mephisto brought back her dead friend Natalie. from the dead. I cannot believe she did that. I'm pissed off at Riri for that. And now I can see what Marvel fans have been saying about Riri Williams in the show, and that would be, this show isn't about her being a hero or anything. It's the tragedy of Riri Williams. Because as you watch her journey in the show, she's not too much of a great person. Not to say she's bad. She's totally flawed. I can see that. But still, I can't believe she actually made a deal with the devil. Are you kidding me? Just, oh god. I need to see a continuation of the storyline. Because you cannot leave me hanging. I need a second season, Marvel. But yeah, my thoughts overall with Ironheart. This might be an underrated project from Phase 5. So yeah, I'm happy to say that I enjoyed Ironheart as a series, and if I were to give it a rating, my rating is probably going to be between an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely better than Secret Division, as, yeah, I hate to say it, that might be one of the worst projects we've gotten from the MCU. And I still need to finish watching that show, as I'm on episode 4, because I wanted to do a re-review talking about my thoughts on how that show should have not been a show at all, but instead an Avengers movie. That should have been Avengers 5! But with that being said, those are just my thoughts with Ironheart now that it's streaming on Disney+. Now that Phase 5 has concluded with Thunderbolts and Ironheart, I'm going to be doing a video ranking all... How many projects we've done? I think there's 12 projects in total. I'm going to be doing a ranking video, but also my review on Phase 5, similar to what I did with Phase 4 3 years ago when that concluded with Wakanda Forever, She-Hulk, but also the Guardians Holiday Special. But yeah, not only do I look forward to seeing Mephisto again, I do hope we get to see Riri Williams part of the Young Avengers project, as I'm still waiting for that, Marvel. But yeah, be sure to let me know your thoughts, comments down below on Marvel's television, Ironheart. What are your thoughts on it? And were you happy to finally see Mephisto in the MCU? Also, one last thing I shall say, I'm happy that RDJ is showing support for Ironheart because, in case you're not aware, back in 2019, he had mentioned that Riri Williams was a character he wanted to see in the MCU. And now that she's finally in the MCU, RDJ is showing support for the show, as this is a character he was waiting to see debut in the MCU. Also, I know that some folks are saying that, oh, Marvel paid him just to say nice things about the show. Don't get it twisted. The guy has actually been looking forward to see this character in the MCU. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed my review, and as always, I'll see you all for my Phase 5 ranking video. Peace out.